Okay, I'll call our meeting to order, and our first item on the agenda is the pledge of allegiance. Would everybody join in?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next order would be agenda review. Is there any additions from anyone?
Any other new business, I was gonna just update. With the, I didn't really have a meeting with the Abenaki,
Yeah.
but I did talk to them a little bit, so I just wanna let you know what they said in response to,
Okay,
if I could do that.
does anybody else have anything?
I'm all set, Mr. Chair.
Ready to go?
Brian?
Okay, I got a few changes. Okay, first of all, under Highway Department, on your copy, I've added Highway Department correspondence. Rather than put it in correspondence, I put it in Highway Department because it is relative to Highway Department matters, and I'd like Kevin here when we,
So you wanna do it while Kevin's here?
Right. okay? And so that's that. Under any other necessary business, we need to set a date to put the flags up for Veterans Day in the park. And under old business, future police coverage discussion, Bill Sheets at the village called me, and they were not able to, Lynn was on some days off and she's not able to get the numbers together, so we may have to just bring that up at our next meeting. He'll have the numbers for the first meeting in February.
First meeting in February?
Excuse me, November. I'm pushing that.
Wow. Skipping right ahead.
I don't know, this is something that, I guess we can we leave it in there? Because I think we need to meet with the trustees and, you know,
Yeah,
and this board, I'm sure, has some concerns and questions, you know,
yeah,
and it's gonna be hard to do it unless we meet face to face, but if they don't have, we need the numbers.
we need the numbers.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
But I think maybe we better do something along that line, don't you guys, everybody agree?
Yep.
Absolutely.
100%.
okay, so you'd like a meeting face to face with?
Yeah, once they get all the numbers, give us a chance, you know, to look at the
Okay.
numbers and then, we can, and just exactly what, you know, the basic things they wanna have in the proposed contract.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Okay.
we all know,
all right,
Yeah, make sure they send it out in advance, not the day before.
Right,
Yeah.
so we have some time to
Way in
actually.
advance.
Yeah. yeah, at least 4 or 5 days.
Yeah. okay,
You know, cause I know time's getting short, so we got,
right,
you know, but still, it'd be nice to have it 4 or 5 days before, so we can look over it. And we would be prepared, because this is another one of those big
Yep.
things for Swan.
yeah, yep, okay. I will let him know. And that's the only changes I've got.
Okay, so, even before we do the minutes, we're going to open a public hearing to enact interim zoning bylaws, amendments to our bylaws, for the border of the Southern Growth District in the town of Swan. Now, we have to close our first meeting, what do we gotta do? Be quicker if you tell me.
You have to open the meeting and then close it when you're done.
Okay, so do we shut our select board meeting down or just open the other one?
Open the public hearing.
Okay,
Yeah, just open.
so I need a motion from somebody on the board to open this public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Alright, motion been made to open the public hearing and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Okay, so the public hearing is now open. And all I gotta remember is to have another motion to exit.
Right.
Okay. So, we did discuss this at the last meeting, is there any more you would like to present?
No, I think we've said it all unless somebody would like me to go over it again.
We all seen the map. Has there been any feedback in either one of these officers about this proposal? I haven't heard any either, so,
I just wanna say that it's a long time coming.
yeah.
Thanks to this gentleman and his tenacity to keep plugging away and keep plugging away at it.
Yeah.
We finally reached it. I mean, I used to say not too long ago, within the past few months, 15 years and we got one store and one gas station. That's all that come of that. I mean, you know, now we're seeing development. And last week or a few weeks ago, Richard was in and we were talking and one of our hangups is always water and sewer. And I don't know who had the idea, it was he or one of the board members, says one word and somebody else said, that's what we're looking for. And Richard has gone forward with it and he's ready to
We'll
move
like to
forward.
bring the water in.
Yeah,
There's no access to sewer.
so. anyway.
Well,
I did have one property owner that came in and wanted to know what the plan was.
Yeah.
In your development, so I shared that.
but that wasn't because they were concerned, or,
I think they were more concerned that it wasn't gonna be residential.
oh, I see, okay. Does any other of the board members got any comments? I do agree that this is, you know, the things are starting, and this brings up another thing that's big for Swanton. I don't know how much we can do. We need to start getting very seriously involved in the southern ghost search and getting some kind of handle on it. And I don't know what the best way to do that is at this point in time, but you know, cause opportunities will pass us by. So all we gotta do is somebody wants to make a motion to approve this interim bylaw change, and we can move on with the meeting.
So move.
Second.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the bylaw change, interim zoning bylaw change for the southern growth district. I have to ask, is there any more discussion?
Yeah, how long is this gonna stay in effect? Until we take it out? Or-
It stays in effect for 2 years, but by then we should have the bylaw rewritten.
Okay,
This will be in there.
Okay, so part of the rewrite of the bylaws will reconfigure, put that
Yes.
boundary, change that boundary to include
Yes.
that, okay. All right. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
Very good.
All right, start spending.
I'm here for one more thing later.
Oh, I see that. Okay,
I'll make a motion to exit the public hearing.
I'll second that.
all right, motion's been made to exit this public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're back into our regular meeting, and now we can go on to the minutes. And it's October 3rd. Does anybody have any comments on it? If not, I entertain a motion to approve them.
I move.
I'll second.
All right, motion's been made to approve the minutes for October 3rd and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Public comments, and these comments are supposed to be limited to something that is not on the agenda. All right, we don't have any, so we're gonna move on to law enforcement. And our chief could make it here tonight, but he's been busy, so we won't keep him any longer than we have to.
make sure your name's not on there.
So I did distribute this via email.
Right,
Yeah.
they've got it,
Yeah.
so,
Yep.
yeah.
This is the same document. But in reviewing the top 10 incident types for September of 2023, there were 22 traffic stops, 18 directed patrols, 7 suspicious people, 6 community outreach, 5 juvenile problems, 4 controlled substance, 4 motor vehicle complaint, 4 property watch, 3 agency assists and 2 citizen assists. 88 incidents total, and then 22 traffic stops. Out of those 22 traffic stops, there were 12 tickets issued and 14 warnings and 1 arrest. There were 2 arrest charges for 2 individuals. And then the other thing that I wanted to call the attention of the town is that with our new website, I now have a police blotter up and running. So I posted all of the incidents that Swanton Police Department has responded to since the beginning of 2022. It'll won't show specific addresses, but it shows the call type, the date and time, and the general location.
That's on our website now?
It is on the website,
Okay.
correct. If you go to, again, I think it's Village Police or Services, and drop down to Police. And then you get into the police page, there's some subcategories down at the bottom, one of them being police block. And then you can see that information. I will update it on a monthly basis so that it's up to date, so anybody can look at that information. The other thing is we have a new interim state's attorney up here. He is, I've known him for a very long time, since he was a new state's attorney down in Chittenden County, and he started his career up here in Franklin County many years ago in the early 2000s. So I think he will be an asset also to the Swanton community. He seems very interested in taking care of some of the issues up there. So I think that'll be a great partnership for us.
Who's this guy again, Chief?
Bram Cronfeld.
Oh, he's the new state
He's the new
attorney?
interim state's attorney.
Yeah, okay.
I believe he's going to run for the permanent
Oh,
position.
I saw that in the paper, yeah. Good.
Yes, so that he's the new interim state's attorney with John Ward. Yeah, we have been very busy just in general, still addressing the drug issues. And thankfully, again, we have pushed it out, but they keep popping up in different places. We, was the beginning of September, we ended up executing a search warrant out in Alberg, just over the bridge. And unfortunately, we managed to push some of that problem back into the technically the town, but still we're trying to address that problem, and we maintain relationships with these people. We know who they are, they know who we are. So we're going to continue to address that vigorously. And offer them, it's a two-pronged approach. Again, I believe in a two-pronged approach. Is one, offering them services, and then connecting them with wraparound services that we can't necessarily provide just because we don't have the capacity. And then two, if they're unwilling to make that decision, then we'll come at it from aggressive law enforcement angle.
Are these out-of-towners or local people?
Well, it's always a combination of the two. So it's
Okay.
the typical, it was my experience in Burlington and here, is that it's locals who suffer from substance use disorder. They end up, and I think quite frankly, I believe that social media has been a big problem with how that has flourished over the, probably 2010-ish maybe is when it really exploded, in my mind at least. I'm not a huge social media guy, but it made it very easy to meet people online and then make those connections. And so we have these individuals from large urban areas, Springfield, New York City, different areas of New York City, Springfield, Massachusetts, the Boston area, all coming up, and then they will stay with somebody locally who suffers from substance use disorder, and they get embedded at that location, and they're distributing large quantities of narcotics out of that location. And then the problem again is all the violent crime associated, right? It's property crime for the individuals who suffer from substance use disorder, because they need to essentially stay well. And I have a lot of empathy for all of them, and I've interviewed quite a few people, and even these distributors, so to speak, coming out of the city. They've had no guidance, they've had no mentors. Usually they don't really have a family, so to speak, and they're left to their own devices on the street, and they're literally just trying to survive. And this is what they know. So they're up here, and they are making large sums of money distributing narcotics, which is having an adverse impact on our community. But we did, we had the homicide on First Street when I first got here in early 2022. We ended up pushing out an individual who committed the homicide in Leicester, Vermont, just a few months ago, who was operating in the village also. And then there's another incident where we're working closely with Massachusetts State Police, where we managed to push an individual out of the community who is associated with a homicide down in Massachusetts. And then if you check the news recently, there were 2 homicides in the Northeast Kingdom that look like there's probably some sort of drug nexus drug distribution nexus associated with those. So it is, it's tough, it's very complicated, the issue is very complicated. Again, I have a lot of empathy for the people who are involved, but it's that two-pronged approach, is offering services and hopefully giving them the services they need and taking that aggressive law enforcement approach.
Yeah, that would be the question I would have. If they wanna take advantage of these services, is it something that's, can be done, in a reasonable amount of time? Better, the question is, are the services really available?
My understanding is they are, so it used to be a huge problem back around 2012, 2013. There was a long wait list. It was up to a year or even longer than a year. But my understanding is they've expanded capacity a great deal. So they are able to get people in if they're willing to take that step. But it's very difficult for people, right?
Yeah.
And the issue that we have here with the criminal justice system, quite frankly, is that if people are released, they need to use in order to stay well. Otherwise, they get physically ill. It's very difficult to become clean and get off the narcotics. And so really in my mind, it needs to be twofold. They either really have to want to make that decision and get into a long-term treatment program, because a couple weeks or a month, it's really going to be very difficult. And then if they just return to the same environment, oftentimes they'll relapse, right? So I believe that one of the better, and the federal system, my experience has been, is they do incarcerate people for an extended, at least initially an extended period of time. They receive treatment while they're incarcerated, so they're removed from that environment but not immediately put back in the community. Because if we just arrest people and then they're released within a couple of days, there's almost no hope for that change. So it's a difficult situation, but
it is very difficult, that's for sure. But I don't, maybe it'd be more cost effective if we spend a little bit more money to help these people get on their feet instead of just sending them out the door.
Yeah, and really it's those services that they need, those intensive services, and that's where it's lacking. So obviously I went through the criminal justice reform movement while I was in Burlington in the wake of the George Floyd incident. But it wasn't the right idea is not taking funds from the police to then put those funds with social services. Communities need to find more money to bolster social services, and quite frankly, you have to make those jobs more appealing, because they're not paid very well, and it's very intense work trying to assist people in these situations. And so really there needs to be more funding dedicated to social services while at the same time still maintaining your police services. And Burlington's a perfect example. I mean, they're in serious trouble.
And I guess as long as we're discussing this subject, where can an individual go in this community? How far do they have to go to get that kind of treatment?
So the Howard Center.
That's Burlington or St. Albans?
Well, St. Albans. You can go to St. Albans and get linked with services. The PIP program recently closed down in St. Albans. But in any case, their focus, the reasoning behind that was, rather than spending so much money, they saw a decline in clientele for the PIP services, which again was just an overnight service. And what they wanted to do was focus on more long-term services. And so that's why they felt they would be better served spending that money to enhance their long-term service programs.
Now, do those facilities, are they licensed to give out whatever they use to substitute the opiate?
Yeah, so
I know there's several different products out there, but they would be available in that situation.
So there are MAT programs, medicated assisted treatment, which is what you're referring to. And individuals, who I'm sure they go through a pretty extensive screening process to make sure it's appropriate for the individual. But yes, those programs are available.
Because, people are gonna need that kind of help.
Yeah. But again, the problem is if they're just kind of left to their own devices in the same environment, it is very difficult to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, so to speak, and extricate yourself from that lifestyle.
Well, very important issue. It's kind of off the subject, but it is a big issue, and hopefully, I think treatment right now might be one of the better alternatives if we can get the less people that want it. The less dealers we're gonna have. There's always supply and demand.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a challenge, and I would much rather see people seek treatment than take the law enforcement approach. But again, because of all the crime associated with the activity, it's necessary for us. And that has been our primary focus since I've been to Swanton. Again, is my marching orders for traffic enforcement and drug enforcement. So we have done a great deal. On that police blotter page, actually, you'll also see a summary of pretty much all the search warrant activity that we've done. It took us almost a year to really get in and start addressing some of the issues that the officers knew existed in the community. But we've made quite a dent since then, so you'll see a summary of those incidents also in that blotter page at the top.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. Are these, it looks like we're all going to the school, right? So are these, if anytime there's any kind of reach out to the SRO, or is that outside calls?
No, that will usually be the SRO
Okay.
creating those incidents.
There's a lot.
There is a lot.
Yeah.
He's very busy up there.
Yeah.
And we had one of our SROs retire, Officer Cleary,
Okay.
who had been up there for many, many years. He's a great asset. He's still at the school in a teaching capacity. But there was plenty of work for 2 SROs. We've had one of our officers doing a lot of outreach recently at the elementary school also. I would love to see we've been addressing school safety in general. We had FEMA come out and give a presentation that was hosted up at NBU, and a lot of the supervisory union was present for that. I think it was eye-opening for them to kind of hear experts from out of state come in and discuss proper procedure in dealing with critical incidents in schools. But they've been doing some great work. That was one of the things that Officer Scott, SRO Scott, and SRO Cleary were working on, was the emergency response plan up at the school.
Are we seeing a bleed over from the amount of drugs or narcotics in Swanton Town? Are we seeing a bleed over that into the school system at all?
So I'm not aware of anything that I can think of off the top of my head of the really hard drugs that are available. For example, we did have a rash recently this month of an individual who was distributing dab pens, or essentially vape pens that are THC based, and there were quite a few incidents up at the school involving those items. So that's something that I brought in state resources. I still need to connect with one of the state officers who may launch an investigation into that. We have a pretty good idea of who the individual is who is doing this, but things like that are really the extent of the drug problem that I'm aware of at the school. But it is concerning.
Yeah.
There's certainly, as you can tell by looking at the report, behavioral issues that the SRO is dealing with and other incidents up at the school.
He's definitely busy. For sure.
But it's a great partnership working with the school and law enforcement. And again, it's not as some characterize it a pipeline to a prison system. We try to divert any sort of criminal activity to diversion programs and keep juveniles out of the criminal justice system. That is really our primary goal with the SRO program, and it's only the really extreme situations where essentially we have no choice that they're really funneled to the criminal justice system.
Hey, anybody else got any questions?
Just one more thing while we're talking about the school. I've had several parents and citizens reach out about traffic entering into school. I know those are not within the contracted hours, but I know you have the SRO up there. We had a community member almost get sideswiped because people are just going way too fast down that road. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention, although I'm sure you already know.
There is, that unfortunately is a consistent issue as far as traffic in and out. I know the SRO tries to make it a priority to be out there and present either in front of the school or sometimes up at the front gate, monitoring it as well as the exit out to Frontage Road. Because it's another issue as far as generally the students leaving campus, but it is an issue.
So I'm just wanted to make sure it was out there.
You're still at full staff, chief?
We are, yes. So and hopefully I know the discussion is as far as the town considering full service. I think it's definitely the way to go as far as community policing goes. You know, and it's no knock on state police, but they are spread so thin. You know, if we could expand it, I truly believe that we could be a model for regional policing. That's something where I think you're going to see the state move to anyway out of necessity in the next decade or so. There have been other communities that have reached out to us, Highgate, Sheldon, Enosburg, just because there aren't enough police services to go around. But we do have a community policing organization, right? We try to offer the best service to the community. It is a struggle today, for example, also we had somebody come in really outside of contract hours asking for help on the issue. We unfortunately try to steer them to state police. But it's again something that I don't really like, again, coming from what I was used to in Burlington, where it's a one-stop shop. I think it just creates a lot of confusion for the community. And this new facility, hopefully, that will be voted on in the spring is a critical part of that. I mean, in order to expand, we really need a space to expand into. We've run completely out of space. I have no room for evidence anymore, thankfully, just in part due to some of the great work that the officers have been doing. But our long-term evidence storage is maxed out right now. I've got basically a closet just filled with evidence in a temp evidence storage area, which is also our general storage area. And if you look at the facility we're operating out of, it's completely inappropriate for a modern policing facility.
Yes, and you know, the point you're bringing up, regional, is what's gonna make all this affordable. Because that's affordable is gonna come into play here for sure. That may be one issue that might be hard to sell, but you're presenting the exact reasons why we need to do this and the problems that we need to keep under control. Because even if you contract out for services, you're not gonna get that kind of investigations and those things. You're gonna get people, you know, on the road. They're gonna pick up people for speed and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't disagree with you at all, and I think that's what we're gonna have to do, head that way in the future.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head, is that the more we can expand and kind of pass that financial burden through multiple communities, the lower that cost is gonna be.
Yeah.
You're gonna see cost savings.
Yeah. And the other thing, it gives us control over who's the police chief. Now, we would keep you. But that's another issue too, and if that could come in the future, you know, if you're running with the state police, we don't really have any say how they do anything.
No, I mean, the state police is the backstop for rural communities that don't have police, right? And so they're not really community oriented in the sense that they're so responsible to the community members themselves. Because they are a state entity, and they're really providing the services that they can with their own capacity issues. And I will say they do a great job. I'm not again, pointing fingers at them. But
well, we're not going to get the outreach into the community like you were talking about. You know, you're going into the grade schools. You know, you're doing things like that. The night out thing. It's all, you know, that's a big thing for policing too. You know, to be part of the community. And it makes everything go a lot better. And you're not gonna get that unless, you know, we have some control over it. And the only way we can have control over it is, you know, that we keep it for, you know, 3, maybe it might be 4 or 5 towns, but at least it'd be those towns would direct it.
Well, thank you for all the hard work.
Thank you.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
Okay, now we can go on to
Have a good
the
night.
Have a good night now.
Be safe, take care.
Thank you.
See you, chief.
expenditures, and we'll start with the general orders. I got a motion, or has anybody got questions on
I
the
have
general
a
orders?
question on it.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
It just brought up, not so much that I'm questioning the charge or anything, but the LVRT event, so we paid to have that stuff and then they got postponed or canceled?
Postpone.
Just postponed, so we're still kinda, not to go into that too much.
Yeah,
but-
I don't know which charge was that.
JC Image.
Just says
Okay,
LVRT van.
Those
for
were the
140.
the signs that we're gonna have,
Mhm.
you know, like the lawn signs.
Yeah.
They're in my office. When they do have the event, all we gotta do is, I talk with Matt about it, and all they'll do is, make like a bumper sticker and you put it over the date,
Okay.
and they're good to go.
That's
Yep.
kind of where I was headed with that. That's cool that you read my mind.
Right.
Alright, I'll make a motion to approve the orders from 9/20/2023 to 10/17/2023 for the amount of $106,352.54.
Second.
Wait a second.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made to approve the orders, general orders for the date and amount stated. And seconded, so is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, so now we'll move on to the highway orders.
I make a motion, we accept the highway orders from September 20th through October 17th in the amount of $35,269.22.
Second.
Alright, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the highway orders for the dates and amount stated. Is there any discussion? Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're gonna move on to the library orders.
No, ARPA.
ARPA. You know, I gotta go, I'm going by this one.
Yeah,
But I gotta go by this one, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the ARPA orders for from 9/20/2023 to 10/17/2023. The amount of $3,222.81.
Second.
Just who seconded it? Nicole.
Else.
oh,
Don't matter.
which one?
Oh,
Don't all fight over me at once.
It's a strong second from both of
alright,
us.
do you got everything, Christina?
I'm good.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded, to approve the, ARPA orders for the date and amount stated. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, so now we'll go back to the library orders.
I'll make a motion to approve the library orders from 9/20/2023 to 10/17/2023 in the amount of $18,258.04.
I'll second.
Alright, motion been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? I got a question. Where's all that money coming from? The library budget?
Budget, yeah.
We had that much money in there for repairs and stuff?
No,
So how are we gonna make up the difference?
you're spending the money, you have to let me know.
Well, what's the answer?
Well, generally has a rule in the past on most of these library repairs we've been doing out of the ARPA funds because we didn't really have money budgeted for.
Right, so do you wanna do a motion to do that?
Well, did we have any?
Yeah, there is some, I can tell you where we are.
You know, I
I
want,
mean, we're definitely over budget, but I can tell you how far over budget.
because we still have some work left to do and that's all gonna have to be paid for with ARPA.
Yeah.
I thought that was the intentions with the basement system.
Yes.
Coming out of the ARPA
Yes.
funds.
Yeah.
And I see we got, the painting and I don't know what the heck, green melt and enclosure that had to do with the air test.
The air tents.
Yeah, see, all that stuff should be coming out of there and gone, you know.
So did we ever, or did anybody ever allot just a certain amount prior for all that, like ahead of time?
No,
No,
now
because,
the air test will get we'll get a portion of that back from Vermont Gas.
Gas.
We did receive, a $3,500 rebate on the new heating system from Vermont Gas. We received that this past week. Cause that was a big ticket item.
yeah,
But the work in the basement will come out of ARPA. And, that won't start till, well, we're gonna talk about that.
now,
It's gonna be a
okay,
while
yeah.
before that starts.
So do we wanna allot a certain amount, or do we just wanna keep doing this every time it comes up?
well, I guess we don't know because we've come up with a lot more things than we were originally planning on doing. You
The
know,
Cody
they talked about a roof, they talked about heaters, and, you know, now we got the water problem in the basement. You know,
Cody raised a good point, even though we don't know, should we be asking somebody over at the library if they could help us with identifying something kind of unexpected at this point, or
what do you think, Brian?
we can't keep draining the money out of the ARPA.
Well-
I'm gonna run out.
Right.
I know one thing that I would, if ever I was in charge of building a building, it would be one floor, so we wouldn't have to fool around with an elevator. That thing is expensive.
Yeah.
But
So this is what we
the,
budgeted,
yeah.
this is what we spent so far.
you know,
And so far, you've taken this all out of the general account,
Out of the library fund, yes.
yeah.
but as far as what's needed in the future, I'm meeting with Laz about the blow test.
Yeah.
Where that comes and what his plan is for, what the suggestion is for that. So we know there's that. We know we've got the
Basement.
the drainage basement plus the replace of the tile and the carpeting.
Yeah.
The good news is that Kevin Nichols did check for moisture, and he does not feel by his instruments that there's a mold problem.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
It's very, okay. And with all the rain we received last weekend, since Kevin did the work on the side, there was no water that came into the basement, so, okay?
Yeah, we don't even have gutters up yet.
Not yet, no,
That would help too.
yeah. So, yeah, we probably should put gutters up,
Yeah, that needs
That
to be
still
done.
need to be done.
It'd be nice to have it done
And,
before winter.
so, I don't, just when you think you have everything in there set, then something else will let loose and there's a problem, but,
Well, yes, we figured that we were gonna do the basement and the attic and the gutters.
yeah.
And then whatever it took to fix the basement, but we didn't know, but now it looks like it's not gonna take as much as we thought. If there ain't any mold issues down there, it's just a matter of ripping
Just
that
rip up
carpet,
the carpet,
putting a new
putting
floor
plywood.
down and, fixing the bottom of the walls.
Yeah.
Can you get a summary, Brian, of what we've spent and what we expect to spend somewhere
Right.
in our minutes, maybe at the
Yeah.
next meeting?
Yeah, we should, because
we-
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be construed by somebody that we're pretty loose with the ARPA funds, because I don't think we are, but right now we're saying, oh, we can always go to ARPA, well, next year we may not be here.
No, that's why we're trying to
And
get this
and the
stuff.
librry still will be,
Yeah,
I
forever.
think there's a time limit on it too, right?
There is.
There's a time
Yeah.
limit, it's just gonna.
don't worry about spending it. It's never been a problem. It'll get spent. So yeah, if you did, we should know that number,
Yeah,
you know, cause it's sizable.
Yeah.
I guarantee you we're over 100,000.
Jesus.
oh, yeah,
Jesus.
I would.
We're close,
We're
for
close.
sure.
We're over.
Because I've got the heating down for
All right.
close to 60.
I've got my spreadsheet on it anyways, for everything we spent there, but I just need to know where,
Okay, yeah, now we'll
Are
go
you-
back to this.
Right.
Looks like we had budgeted 10,000 for building maintenance. That's what was voted and approved by the voters. Up to this time, there's been 22,000 something coming out.
so now I got a question, when James did the work over there, was that supposed to be ARPA funds or not, cause I didn't.
Wow, did we
Minutes.
budget for that?
No,
And we didn't budget for the work that was done here?
oh, well, I had enough in, I believe in mine to cover that, in my budget.
Well, I think if you went back to the minutes, I'm pretty sure that we budgeted that, we budgeted something because James said that job was gonna have to be done this year.
Yeah. I think I was in the ARPA.
So,
So was it ARPA, because.
I don't think it was ARPA,
I
no.
usually make a copy
Okay,
of
well,
the
we'll
minutes
have
and
to
put it in
look
my
back in the
yeah,
folder.
alright, check out on the minutes to
Okay.
see exactly.
So we're
if-
look, 12 and change
It's
over.
gonna be.
Yeah, and if
I'll
I under-
Find out, I got it in
Yeah.
the folder,
And then we
when they
got-
approved to do that.
Okay, so if I understand this right, Kathy, we're 12,000 over,
Right,
and then there's gonna be another 6,000 going on to that, 6.5? Well, on the last column. Does
no,
that,
that's what it's over budget. That's what was spent this quarter, sorry.
What's the number, 6, 4, 10?
Well, we only budgeted 10
We
grand.
budgeted 10,000.
We've already spent 12,127, so we're 12,127 and change over.
No,
the
we've
budget,
spent,
right?
we budgeted 10,000 and we've spent 22,127.30, so we're 12,127.20 over.
Over, right.
And that's including the charges in these orders.
Yes.
Okay, so that's right up to date, that 12,000,
And we're gonna look to the ARPA fund to replenish that shortfall.
yeah.
Along with the basement, whatever it was that.
Yeah, be good to see an accounting of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the year, if we're over budget on the library, what would you normally do if there weren't no ARPA funds? Well, we'd have to get it out of the general fund?
No, then you would just be over budget in that fund. You're not gonna get it from
Raise
anywhere
that.
else. You're
So,
just gonna be over
but all the
budget.
bills still get paid?
Right,
Where's the money come from?
you're over budget.
Of the next year.
Next year.
It rolls in.
It depends, cause at the end of the year, the general fund usually has carryover when we do all the budgets. So we usually have money that's, because of delinquent taxes being collected, the school adjusts the taxes, how much we're supposed to get. So we usually have money rolled over. If you look in the town report, at the bottom it says money, cash on hand for rollover. So that usually covers, we're never in the hole.
Yeah.
Like we're never a negative number,
So we're doing our own financing, basically.
basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we put it in the budget net for the following year.
What it is typically, like, say, I'm trying to make it easy, say we have a $100,000 budget and we spend $80,000. So in the general fund, we'd have $20,000 left over. So what happens is, and that includes all the expenses, so when we go to do our budgets for the next year, out of the general fund, we would deduct $20,000 that we don't have to collect in taxes for our taxpayers.
Yeah,
So we're not really doing our own financing, we're just coming in below budget. When you add you might go over in one item expense, but you might be under in another one, so they all balance out, so we would have money left over, so it gets deducted from the. So all the expenses get covered, and we could have money left over, which we normally do, to apply to the next year's taxes, money to be raised by taxes.
Now, if we use some of that excess to cover shortfalls, do we have to get,
No, the general fund has to be, any money in the general fund has to be deducted from the next year's taxes.
but
For it to be raised by
but
taxes.
we're just, I think if I misunderstood then, if we have excess, hopefully we will,
Right.
we can use that money to pay some of these things off?
No,
That has to go for
they're
next year.
they're already paid.
Okay,
When we do our budgets, everything gets budgeted, cause the highway's separate.
Different.
They're all separate budgets, but when it comes to raising all the money for, like last year, the library had excess money and they could still, because we budget for health insurance, and right now, no one takes the health insurance, so the 22,000 that we budget for health insurance on there, isn't that what we budget, Earl?
yep, something like that, yep.
So, we don't use that money, that could offset what we spent
22.
22
in the
nine.
building
Oh, yeah,
maintenance.
so
So
So-
it could come in balance at the end of the
okay,
year.
you said that we had a bunch of stuff going on, you said whatever money we didn't spend at the library, and the health insurance is an example, we can use that money?
It's all in the budget, like
Yeah.
all budgets are just budgets you try to work to, that's what you wanna work to get that budget. So if you budget $10,000, you wanna try and do that $10,000, but if you had unexpected things come up or out of your control that you didn't plan on budgeting that year, say you're over 15,000 in one line item, but if the next line item down, you're 5,000 below what you budgeted. When it all comes down to the end, the final numbers, it's what we budgeted and what was actually spent and what was left over in that general fund budget. So we could be over in some, short in another, and it could be the same way with the library, they could be
Yeah.
over in some,
But
short in
if we
another.
if we don't have enough of one to pay for the other, we just pay it. If we budgeted something and we didn't budget enough, and we have to write some
If
checks,
it's in the same
I realize that,
fund.
Yeah.
Right,
so we just spend the money, which I still can't get used to, but, and then if there's anything excess left over, we put it into next year's taxes.
we deduct
deduct
it,
it from
we
next year's
deduct it from the
taxes.
amount to be raised by taxes in the general fund. The highway fund is the only fund, if they have excess over left at the end of the year, it can be carried over to projects, or that goes into the contingency funding, they can do it to go for the highway, cause highway money, it's like your infrastructure, so it's something you can do carry over highway funds, but you cannot carry over general fund money.
That's kinda similar to what we did last year with the highway department with the McQuam Shore Culvert. We ended up either borrowing the money
Yeah.
or using some fund money, I don't know. I think we borrowed it out of our credit line, didn't we?
But we
Yeah.
added it on to this
Yeah, but we
credit
added it
into
on
the budget
into
this year,
this
that's
year's
why.
budget.
it was-
So you do the same thing here, but now that you're bringing that up about the health insurance, I mean, if that's figured in, you're still under budget.
Yeah.
Right,
It could work out
Yeah.
earlier.
So, I mean, as a board, do we want, let's not worry about anything right now, as long as it doesn't go over, that 12 doesn't go over 18,000, because you never know, we may have some costs out of that insurance thing,
yeah,
don't you?
there is some money that comes out of there, but it's
Yeah.
included in that number. Cause someone does have the dental.
Yeah, but if we spend all of 22,900, and then there's some that comes out of there, we're gonna be under, we won't have the money in there if we spend it on building improvements.
Right, well, you're really not spending on building improvements.
That's why I'm saying, I know,
It's in the same budget.
I know.
But you're basically under in one line item and over in another, but.
I
at the end-
understand that,
But at the bottom of the budget, it will balance.
yes, but I don't wanna see this go below what we need to cover the cost.
Right, exactly.
So that's why I'm saying, I'm throwing out 18,000, that gives us a good margin
Yeah.
of safety.
I can't
So
see
when
that.
this number hits 18,000, then you better let us know so we can start putting the stuff over to the ARPA funds.
So what's left to do?
Well, we got the basement,
I know the
It's-
gutters in the basement.
gutter,
70%
basement,
of the
and then
basement.
the attic.
Okay,
And I would,
well, we're gonna be close to that number, right,
we're gonna
with the
be,
basement, cause that's $14,000.
yeah, and that doesn't include fixing the floor and all that.
Right.
So you can figure it's gonna be a
So you're
good, 25 probably, by the time it gets done, you never know.
14,000 for them to do, and then
So,
I
yeah,
don't know how much it's gonna
Yeah,
cost for them, I don't know how much they're tearing out down there, we don't.
Yeah, I don't know
We should get
either.
an estimate, put it up.
But you know how them
Yeah.
jobs, when you start tearing stuff apart,
Yeah,
but if I could just add, on municipal budgets, okay? When we present a budget to the voters, it's always a proposed budget.
yes, yeah,
Okay, so if we run over, we cannot stop, because you can't shut government down. So we just gonna,
Unless you're in Washington.
well, sure, but we, so the roads will still have to get plowed, everything still has to do. So if it went the reverse way, that's when it's made up the following year
Yeah.
on the budget. But, I mean, that's.
yeah.
But Kathy's right, most of the time there's a surplus in the bottom lines
Yeah.
and it
not
all
fun work,
sugars
that's
off.
just-
Well, let's still get an update though.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's
So we
fine.
don't-
Motion in a second.
No, well, we already been made, I want to make sure we finish the discussion and everybody's okay with the idea of just keep going the way we are. Until that 12,000 hits 18.
I got something else, Earl, and maybe you or Nicole to familiar me with, I'd say you or Nicole, because Cody and Steve weren't on the board at the time. When we took over the library,
Yeah.
were you on the board then?
I was there, yes, I remember reading the MOU
Okay,
several times, I think.
correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we have the discussion, if they were spending money, they have to come in front of us in order to spend that money?
Not
Or
on,
whatever, for what, no?
not for what they, not their budget.
not for their own budget.
Yeah, not on their own budget.
In regards to building maintenance and things like that, I believe there,
That's
there
our
was-
budget.
Exactly.
Okay.
They can't spend things on building maintenance without
Okay,
our
I just wanna
approval.
clarify that, because
Yeah.
I'm sure that everybody saw
Yes.
the thing in the paper where they did this, they did that,
Yeah.
and they paid Dave Winchester.
That was all done with grant funds, from
Okay,
my
yeah.
understanding.
All right,
But they did come to the board for approval to put
They
that
did.
partition in.
okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to,
Yeah.
as long as we're on that subject, thank you.
So is everybody comfortable with just leaving it like it is right now and make sure that we don't go over 18,000?
I don't know if I'm comfortable.
Brian,
Well, because
when is he starting?
it just saves a little bit of ARPA money,
I know what
When's he starting the work
I know what you're
in the
saying.
library? January?
The basement?
Yeah.
January.
Right, so we're gonna be into next year's budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So we've given them,
30%.
upstairs, I hope.
which is $3,373
No better
already.
tomorrow. Laz is coming up tomorrow.
And I'm sure they're not gonna bill us until next year.
Right.
But you already made some, a partial.
3,000, yeah,
payment?
30%,
Yeah.
The deposit on this
Yeah.
work.
$73
For the basement, Kathy?
for the basement, yeah.
Oh,
So
I mean,
those expenses aren't gonna happen this year, they,
We'll be able to budget for them for next year.
at least that part of the
Right.
expense, yeah.
Correct.
well, they
That as well as the,
finishing that and the repair to the
The
basement.
floor
Yeah.
of the
And it
basement.
depends on if the gutters get done this fall or,
Well, we're
Well,
hoping
we'd like
that
the
will,
gutters get
yeah.
done
Yeah.
this year.
yeah, and the attic.
But it depends on the availability of the contractor for the attic.
also depends on the cost.
Well, I can't believe it's good, we got enough ARPA money to do it.
Did we get a second bid on the gutters? Brian?
No, we never got one.
Pardon?
We never got one. Nobody replied back.
Surprise, surprise.
But we're gonna have to rebid it probably
Okay.
anyway.
We'll get to that in building.
Okay, alright, so the motion been made and seconded, we had plenty of discussion. All those in favor of the the library budget? Library orders for the date and amount stated? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Now we're going on to highway general payroll. I got a motion on that.
I move that we pay the
Who seconded?
general payroll from September 20th, 2023 to October 17th, 2023, in the amount of $25,184.09.
I'll second.
Alright, motion been made and seconded to approve the highway and general payroll for the date and amount stated. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, motion carried, so we're on to the library payroll, so I'll entertain a motion there.
I'll make a motion to approve the library payroll orders, from 9/20/23 to 10/17/2023 in the amount of $4,623.38.
Second.
Alright, motion been made and seconded to approve the library payroll orders for the date and amount stated. Is there any discussion there? Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now. No, highway department. I guess, we have some repair issues that should be brought before the board, they might as well know about it, so go ahead, Kevin. Well, you got the truck and the tractor.
You're gonna follow the agenda, or you're just gonna,
Oh. Okay, that's not on the agenda though.
no, it is, and well,
Yeah.
truck
But it's
repair
in.
is.
Oh, truck repair, okay, alright, then do the Brooklyn Street then.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta do that too.
I'll do Brooklyn Street. But, as you know, we met a couple of weeks ago with representatives from the village and Tyler Billingsley, Kevin and I were down there on Brooklyn Street. This is the storm drain that's out in the middle, out of the town's right away, but it's a storm drain right into the sanitary sewer that has to be disconnected. But obviously that water that it's taken is gonna have to go someplace. So Tyler was there and I included an email in your packet that Tyler spells out what he is looking to do. And that's to draw the plan to get that water, design a culvert to go under Brooklyn Street at an angle, and then to go into the, I'm not really up on the technical term, but the water would then go, I'd say, in a ditch to head out toward Johnigan Drive. And to do that work, he had suggested it would be $4,000 for the total, his fee would be $4,000. And he's thinking that, the work involved would be about 25% of the village, 75% on our side. And the So we're looking for approval for that, to have him do that so he can get the design done. As far as the work itself, I'm planning on paying for this out of the grants and aid program that the state has for next year's, and the village is looking at it too, that comes from AOT. We're getting $22,000, and Tyler, and this is where I need Kevin's expertise, is it's a type of job that probably we could do in-house with Kevin and his capable people. We will have to get some easements from a property owner across Brooklyn Street from that. I have not spoken with that individual, but or individuals, but my understanding is that from what the neighbors have said, that those people have water in their basements, so this may help them.
But that land, that where we wanna put that
Right.
ditch, I don't believe they
They wouldn't
don't, we gotta
necessarily.
figure that out.
Yeah, that's, Tyler was gonna
Yeah.
figure that out, see just who owns that. But, and even if they don't own it, we'll talk to them, let them know what they're doing.
Right.
So that's what in the email that I copied and have in your packet, the bold print is what pertains to this project. The rest of it is what the village work will be. The village was, Tyler was there that day and he had several other projects for the village, so I'm just basically looking for the okay to get Tyler to do that design work.
Got a second on that?
Second.
Alright, motion been made and seconded. Steve made the motion, yeah, Ed seconded it to, allocate 4,000.
It'd be 3,000, 75%
Yeah.
being the town, and then asking the village for 25%.
But you don't know that for sure.
Or we say up to 4,000.
Or we can
Yeah.
go up to 4,000.
Okay, all right.
I'll talk with Bill tomorrow.
Yep. And, is that work not gonna get done this year, is it?
No, this will be next year.
Okay,
Just
so-
the grants for next
So
year.
we'll know we'll need the budget for the project itself by then, even if we do it in-house, if there's culverts and stuff, we'll have to, yeah.
It's just gonna take one culvert,
Yeah.
probably 50 feet long.
Yeah.
1 inch, that's what Tyler would be sufficient, but
Okay, is the motion in there up to 4,000?
Yep.
Alright, motion been made and seconded, is there any more discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, motion carried.
You?
Alright, now we got the request from Richard Cummings.
Did we act on the salary?
What?
Did we ever get a motion on the salaries?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
We
oh yeah,
did?
we did
Okay.
all,
I had to
yeah.
file it over here. We got it.
The ones to sign will be coming down your way.
Okay, I guess you better come up here and, make your presentation. Yeah, Richard. I'll call you Jerry.
This is for Jerry, you know, both sections, you know, the early section that we did in 18, I think.
That's off Bushy Road, right?
Off Bushy Road, and then the second section, which we just put the final coat on today. Everything has 3.5 inches of asphalt.
Yeah.
The road, I have letters from the engineers that inspected the road while we were going along. And I don't know to whom I hand these to.
Can you help me? Have we ever, did we agree sometime earlier, Rick, that the town was gonna take that over?
Well, one of these letters is addressed to James Gilmet, and I had a conversation with him, but that's not a board meeting, that's vote on or anything like that.
I just wanna make sure we're not responding to previous actions taken.
I don't think there was a previous action.
I'd be surprised if the board made any kind of commitment to take
Yeah,
over a
okay, all
road.
right,
We didn't.
We did not.
You don't know what you're getting at that point.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Well, other things we've done, we didn't know
I
we
mean-
didn't either, so.
we haven't.
So I don't know what the procedure is for this, but
Well, I gotta be real honest with you. We're not in a great position to be taking over roads right now. We've turned down a couple other ones too. And some of it has to do is, we haven't figured out yet how to catch up from the increase in hot mix. I mean, you know, for paving, it's just,
Well, it's all paved. Oh,
yeah, but I mean, it's gonna have to be repaved, and you know, the more roads, we can't even keep up with the roads we got now, and, you know, Kevin's here,
Roads falling apart.
yeah.
Did you have a homeowners association in your original plan for Jerry Mill?
yes,
You do, so the homeowners are aware, at this point, it's their responsibility.
I charge an annual fee
Okay,
for paving. We,
And maintain it.
and,
Do you-
well, there's nothing in there for maintenance because we were expecting that the town would take over the road eventually. And with a nice new road, there's not gonna be much
Yeah.
maintenance.
But we still gotta plow.
not now.
Yeah, not, yeah, on the road there might be.
So who, are you plowing it now, Rick?
Yes,
And the homeowners all chip in?
yep.
Okay.
So there's 9 finished, or 9 permitted buildings in there now. And one more is gonna start, might be later this month, they've applied for a permit. We'll see about that, but I don't know, is there any limit on how much you collect in taxes before you do this?
Got nothing to do with taxes really, and I know people say that, but, it's not, I mean, whatever people pay for a municipal tax or highway tax, probably isn't much. Very little money, maybe 15, 20, 30, 40, $50. So, you know, we can't look at it just tax wise.
So I got a question though, maybe you've researched this. Right now, your property owners pay a property tax to the town
Yes, they do.
based on them owning the road and maintaining it and plowing it. If the town took this over, would their taxes go up because they're gonna be less that expense that they were paying?
Oh, we have a lister here.
Ah,
It doesn't affect property values, town road versus private
I
road.
believe they get a discount if they're on a private road. And I don't know what that discount is, it's a percent.
Oh, when you're appraising
When-
it.
No,
On the assessment.
when they do the assessing.
Yeah,
for
so there's-
Right.
developments that are privately maintain their roads, there's a discount on the municipal tax for them because they maintain their own
How
roads.
much is it, Kathy, do you know?
I don't know, I have to ask Jim that, I don't really wanna comment, I have an idea, but I'm not gonna say because I'm not the one who does it, so and I don't wanna
So if they,
cross over, I know they do, but I don't wanna
that
say,
discount would go away, and that would be new revenue coming into the town of Swanton. And probably not a lot of money, but
yeah, if we can find out how much it is. It's probably less than what I'm charging to do the road.
yeah.
But it's, you know, I know it's hard for you guys and you do a good job, you've done things right, I think you probably would take a look at his engineering and I don't know if you've been by there and, you know. But the issue is, right now, you know, without paying a real jack in the freaking tax rate, you know, we're struggling to keep up with the roads.
Mhm.
That's the whole issue.
I'd love to hear what Kevin has to
Yeah.
say.
There's also other developments and roads ahead of.
Well, that's true, yeah.
there's a list, there's a long list,
Yeah.
somewhere that's created,
list.
I'm not sure what it is.
I don't know,
How long have they been waiting?
25,
Probably
30
since it's been
years.
developed.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I've been here, it'll be 30 years in February.
And then we have new roads that are could be proposed in the southern growth
Yeah.
district.
Well, my concern is, Mr. Chairman, and, you know, in the 5 years I've been on the board, I know we've turned down, at least 4 or 5 people that have come in front of the board. And, no disrespect, to this gentleman, he's done a beautiful job out there. In fact, I was in your development yesterday, selling popcorn. But, what my concern is certainly, and I'm sure he can understand, I think we're gonna get some flashback
Oh,
if we approve the town to take
Yeah.
over his road.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kevin brought the point up, you know, I mean, it wouldn't be fair, to the other people I've been that have come before us, and at least I feel a little bit better if they're getting a discount because it's in the development, at least, you know.
Who could I ask to find out what the discount?
Yep,
You can call
we'll get
Jim.
that information for
Call
you.
Jim in the morning,
Okay,
you must have his number.
I do. Alright,
So do we take action on this, or do we need, I mean, I guess what you're looking for, Rick, is what you can tell your homeowners, what the discount is.
yeah,
And that,
I didn't know if, someone from the highway department would look at it and say, yep, it's built to A76 standards, and when the time comes, to take it, we're fine with the way the road's built.
Well, that's a fair request, don't you think so, Kevin? Alright, but Kevin would be the one that would be reviewing it, so.
but the question is, are we interested in taking over the road?
No.
Not right now.
At this time,
No, that's
no.
what I mean, yeah,
No.
so this is all ancillary stuff that you can look at for your property owners, and Kevin can go up there and run his eagle eye over it, but the question before us, are we interested in taking it over?
Well, what might happen too, and I can see where Richard's coming from, and he's right, I think he's right anyways, is because some developers probably didn't do the job they were supposed to on the road. So Kevin could go out there and tell them that, well, you know, if the town were to ever take this road over, you're gonna have to do X, Y, Z. Otherwise, I know it's like, cause I won't recommend it, because it doesn't meet the A76 standards. So, you know, having them do that, because I think if Richard had an issue there, he would probably take care of it right off. Just so if it did happen in the
Yes.
future, you'd be ready. I mean, that, you know. And I assume if it's built to A76 standards, that's for everybody's benefit, because the road's gonna last longer, it's gonna be better to travel on, etc. So even the people living there benefit from it.
Well, for instance, the engineer states in the letter that we use road fabric, and it's not a requirement of A76, which is gonna improve the longevity
Yeah,
of the road.
yeah.
So, less maintenance in the long run. Alright,
But I guess we could look at this two ways. We can deny the request outright, or we can agree to have Kevin take a look at it to see if it makes A76 standards, but we're not taking the road over.
Yeah, cause we're talking two issues.
Yeah,
Quality versus the town taking it over.
yeah,
Kevin can handle the quality end.
yeah,
But we're back to our original question.
Yeah.
Are we interested in taking it over?
so,
All this stuff can be done afterwards.
well, I'd like to know where we stand now.
as far as taking the road over,
Well, is the town satisfied with the road?
well,
Just a yes or no answer on that.
I
And
understand
then
where you're coming from,
Should
yeah.
they be satisfied with the road, just not prepared to take over the road at this point, then I have something I can tell the homeowners, this is what it is, and this is what it's gonna cost.
So we need to have Kevin go out and take a look at it.
But the only, I think we're trying to do two things at once that we need to separate here. If we say we're satisfied with the road, and we probably will be, based on the quality of your reputation in putting these things in, what does that mean?
That you're just not in a position to for any roads.
Let's just talk about your road. If we send Kevin up and he says it's a wing bang job, and and that's fine, but what does it mean for the select board? Nothing. Because we don't own it.
No, we're not gonna take the
No.
road over at this present time.
Yeah.
But it does give him, it does give Richard, you know, he knows that the road is built to the standard, so if anything ever changes in the future, he's got a road that would qualify for the town. And I guess he'd like to tell the people that live there, if the road ever is built to A76 standards.
But we
Do you want, and I mean, the only concern I guess I would have over that is, I mean, is that create a liability for the town if we're,
well, that's what I'm
I haven't
asking.
accepted it yet.
He's already got it in writing, but.
right there from the engineer, so the engineers would be the liability, yes. Okay, fine.
They've already made the determination that it's built the way it should be built, correct?
Yeah, so the town, does the town really
And
need
that's
to?
the
So it's not,
engineer.
and not necessary for Kevin to go look,
No,
because
it's not.
he has
It's
the
kinda
letter
redundant.
there that says it is.
That's not our
Which should probably go in
responsibility.
his own.
Create these redundant,
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, maybe another way of putting it is just say that, you know, the board was presented with the information they need to make an A76 determination in the future. You know, it's there,
But what
you
if-
got the documentation.
But what if the criteria for an A76 changes?
Yeah, I can't change the road at that point.
Yeah. I think we ought to let this go.
Alright, so you wanna make a motion just to flat out deny the request,
Well, I think that's the only fair way
okay?
for,
Yeah.
for him and the property owners up there, because otherwise we're going in a direction where we're leading them to think that maybe this is gonna happen. And as of the way things stand tonight, we all know it's not gonna happen.
We don't have the capacity to
Right.
take it on.
It would take a miracle.
But what I don't want to happen is any rules to change and then not be to
No.
that new spec.
And we don't make those
Yeah,
rules.
that would be
The
out
state
of our
does.
control anyway.
We don't control that, A70.
So I'm gonna move to make a motion that, that Mr. Cummings' request is denied.
I'll second that, much as I hate to, Rick, but
Alright, motion been made and seconded to deny the request to take over Jerry Mill Lane. Road,
Swanton Town Road at this time.
Lane, yep, has a town road. Alright, we had a lot of discussion, anybody else got any more input? No, all those in favor?
alright,
Motion carried.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a nice evening.
Truck repair, tractor repairs.
The, Mac, they were hauling sand, and one of the walking beams, holds the truck up on the driver's side, collapsed. It rotted out, collapsed. So, they replaced that, and they did a little research. What happens is they rot out from the inside out. So the other side, we're not sure the structure of that. So we're gonna replace both of them. So, it's
We got a cost figure on that, Kevin?
roughly 10,000
for
to
the,
do both sides.
both sides.
We don't have an option.
No, the truck's no good without it.
Right, I understand.
The tractor, the wheel bearings went on the right hand rear wheel. So they ordered them, they're in, they're hoping to get it in this week.
Who's doing that?
United,
Yeah, it's been down for a while too.
been down almost 3 weeks.
We got a price on that?
I do not have a price on that.
We had trouble getting the parts.
They took a little while to get in, and then with corn season and stuff like that, the other, there's
I bet they're busy, yeah.
So we're not a priority is what you're saying?
right. I tried to, I tried to talk to Brian, but
So now,
then they're hired, they don't have any help and stuff.
To
They're
look at-
find help.
What's going on with the garage doors?
well, wait a minute, now, we're gonna be over on our repair budget.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what we're.
Yes.
So everybody's gonna have to plan on that. Hopefully we're gonna find it somewhere, I thought we were gonna save it on salt, but salt price stayed the same, so he was figuring prices were gonna go up, but he just got more salt.
that's all done,
Yeah.
just all in and sand's all up.
Yeah. Alright, the garage doors,
Yeah.
you want me to start, or do you want?
Go ahead, dude.
Well, I went up there the other day, Kevin called me, I was out in St. Albans and I was on the road and I said, well, I said, I shouldn't talk, so, yeah, at the town garage, I'll just go there. So I go there, it's 12:30 in the afternoon, and, there was at least, three guys there, plus you,
Yeah. We're having lunch.
and the door's locked. I can't, they're all inside the building. So I can't figure this out. I kinda walk around a little bit, see if there's another door I can go in, and no, I can't, so I pound on it, and finally Kevin, I guess he saw me, and he came over and opened the door, and I said, what'd you do, forget you had the door locked? Oh, no, we have a locked door policy here in the town. And I never saw the policy anywhere. I said, do you mean you have to have the doors locked even if you're inside the building? Yeah.
I didn't see the policy, I was just told that
Yeah,
there was,
that came from a select board meeting, right?
yes.
Okay.
I went back through the minutes of 16, 17, 18. and
You
did not
couldn't
find
find it.
So,
So what's the issue?
Well, why would anybody, I mean, why would they have the place locked when they're in there working? I mean, people go there, they must have vendors and stuff, they gotta run to open the door? Does that make any sense?
They're working again.
Is it right there?
Do you have a doorbell?
Yeah, but you want to put it in the, no.
Well, no, I mean, there's a safety issue, I mean,
No, I don't
What's
see
going
it as
on
a
around
safety
here?
issue at all.
does it keep our employees safe if they're under a truck and they're doing something? They really don't have any control over who comes in, do they?
it all started when another town came, and they came in and started talking to us. And the foreman before me didn't like that, and that's when that all got changed.
Well, how do you feel about it?
Door's always been open. I worked over here on 4th Street for years, door was always unlocked.
If you're there.
When we first started up here, doors were always unlocked.
So Kevin, a question. Did the past select board make that happen?
That's what I was told. I didn't see it in writing.
Kathy?
In a meeting I wasn't in, I don't recall it, but sometimes that stuff happens in executive session, but usually a motion is made, but Christina read through all the minutes to see if she could find anything way back to 2016.
Well, I
And
guess
she didn't find anything, so I'm assuming that it was,
Just leave it unlocked.
So I guess it goes back to Mike's question. Are you looking for us to
Mike,
override that?
you talking Mike,
Yeah,
me?
I mean,
I'm Steve.
you don't really need them locked.
Well, then leave
just
them
when you're
open.
not there, you
When we're
lock
not
them.
there.
Right.
you know,
But when you're there.
locked.
So when you
I
guys are
think
out
it's more of
plowing
a
and
safety
the doors
concern
are
if they are
locked?
locked,
Yeah,
because if
we'll
someone's
lock
hurt,
the doors.
trucks, or if you're welding, or if you're doing something in there and the door's locked and the ambulance needs to get in there and no one else is around.
If we're in there,
You can't get in.
we'll keep them unlocked, you know.
Mr. Chamberlain, do you need a motion on that?
Well,
Or is it-
To unlock it.
I guess we do, because this has been going on, I've been on the select board for 3 years, and I never realized this was going on.
But you're okay with if we leave them unlocked when you're there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I
I'm
move.
fine with that.
Second,
Alright, motion been made and seconded, that as long as the town employees are at the town garage, the door remains unlocked. Any more discussion? Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
We'll have them unlocked.
Must be so free feeling now. Places are present.
Just when we think we've heard.
any
it.
other things up there
Yeah, just.
that are ultimately important like this that we should be looking at?
Well, there is one thing, yes, this land that the town bought,
Yep,
Brian and Kevin are gonna be taking a real serious look at what, we bring something before the board as what we need
Sure.
for ourselves.
yep.
Cause we wanna start, we did have a meeting with the school, this, superintendent. Got her really excited about this,
And something, she did have a meeting with the building committee and they're agreeable to
okay,
taking, but we gotta work out the finer details,
Yeah.
so.
They
yeah.
wanna buy the land?
what's that?
Not the whole land, but.
No, not the whole
Not
land.
the whole thing, but.
Just what they need, and I made it very clear to them that we're not, maybe there might be some land left over we give you, but right now, just what you need, the minimum to meet what you're already
Says
using.
they're trying to make themselves legal. I'm just-
Yes, to make yourself legal, that's basically, because right now, we have control over it. If we don't in the future, you guys are in trouble, and I think that probably hit home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're moving.
oh, good.
Yeah, but I would think that we should take this as an opportunity.
Yes, yeah,
I mean, we got that land sitting there, we got the taxpayers' money tied up,
yeah.
we're not gaining a damn thing.
No, and, you know, there is some cause I took a little walk around with Kevin at the garage site, and there's some land there. We need some more land around there, okay?
In the back.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, that's where we could make more of this swap deal with, Raoul, yeah.
We've never,
Well, we gotta get everything together. I think we need to bring him a picture of what we're proposing. And then he'll make some kind of reaction, cause I think in the end, he might end up with more land than he has now. And not a bad place to have land.
no.
The back and possibly some on the side.
Yeah, yeah. So that is one thing that, hopefully we'll hear more of once you guys get something together, and hopefully the town will have what it wants to use, the school will have what it needs to use, and then we can try to make a deal with Ralph.
Okay.
Okay. Every department correspondence.
Yes. Do you have any on that?
Well, I got two things.
Oh, that's right, you did, there was somebody.
Which is the only correspondence we got. The first, comes from a resident of Spring Street, Adam Paxson. He was planning on coming this evening and bringing this up under, public comment, but he was not able to make it, so he just wanted me to read this. You have a copy of it. Good evening, Swanton Selectboard. I'm respectfully requesting a Swanton Town snowplow truck drop after my house on 98 Spring Street. Seeing that Spring Street or Route 7 is not maintained in any way by Swanton Town, as evidenced from a fallen tree by Wheeler Round being taken care of by others in September, pushing added snow into my driveway when Swanton Village takes great care of Spring Street is unnecessary. Thank you in advance for your understanding, Adam Paxman. So I just wanted to have Kevin here, so
I talked with the operator that plows that, and he says he lets his equipment down past Adams.
okay.
He never, I think what he's getting is from the state.
I was just gonna say
And
The
that.
state goes, yeah, for
And
sure.
the Swanton Village, when they plow, they plow in front of his house, they turn into a wheel around and turn it back out. You know, they lose their snow.
Yeah.
And they back out and come back out.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's our truck, I think it's the state coming along.
Yeah.
And doing it.
Cause you don't plow any on Route 7, right?
No, we drop
Yeah.
to pull into
Yeah.
wheel around.
Yeah.
I talked to him today and I asked him where he dropped. And I told him where, he didn't know where Adam lived, I
Right.
showed him.
Yeah.
He said, no, I wait till I get almost to wheel around, let him down.
Alright, so we're gonna have
No
to
reason to do that.
talk with Adam about that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
So,
he may still have the same problem, but it's not caused,
I think
it doesn't look
the
like it's caused
I
by
think
the,
the state
yeah.
they dropped,
Mhm.
because they, that's the line right there.
yeah.
Okay, I can take care of that. So now the next one I received this morning from Bill Sheets, and it's, they are in the process of creating an RFP for repair of the expansion joints in the bridge next year, and this is the bridge here on
Yeah.
Depot Street. They are gonna request two separate bids. One option is to potentially save a significant amount of money by eliminating most traffic control, which includes closing down the bridge to all traffic for several days, exact time to be determined. In the long run, this is an option strongly favored by the trustees, as it lessens the overall length of time that we're backing up traffic. Where do we stand with, as this relates to the traffic reroute through town roads? Is this awareness only, or is there a process we need to follow to pursue this possibility? So.
Been done in the past.
It's been done in the past. Yeah.
Where would you run it down the BB Road?
Yeah.
South River? is that
South
the-
River to the BB, the old truck
South
route.
River, yeah, BB used to be the old truck route, so.
Yeah.
So that we don't know how long a period of time. I wouldn't think it would be terribly long.
would they have some type of traffic control? I mean, that road has been upgraded, as we know, but it's still not a very wide road.
It's not
Are
wide.
they planning on putting some kind of traffic control down there to keep people into the speed limit? The speed limit's what, 25, 30? 40 through there. But as you come into the village, it's like 25 or something.
30.
It's 30.
Nobody ever goes that speed.
No, I do.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're a saint. Yeah.
Wow. That was a quick fire.
That was a quick fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, I guess, do you see any issues with diverting that kind of traffic down through there?
I don't know about the people that live down there, but
The road is, we've done a lot of work on that road, we've done a lot of work on Beebe Road,
it was an old truck route,
yeah.
so it took a lot of weight before, and it's taking a lot of weight now from trucks, and there's still a lot of trucks that go through there.
Yeah, because, I can see trying to have traffic control in one lane on that bridge with the repairing that being a
it's not
total
fun that
nightmare.
Yeah.
It's not fun at all.
No,
Well, and then that would also create an increased amount of traffic in the village in general. I mean, coming through at 5 o'clock, it's really difficult, you know, for traffic. Not difficult, but
Yeah.
it's increased traffic.
yeah, I know.
I think we have to, this makes more sense to shut the bridge down, let's go around.
Yeah.
But my only question is, what are they gonna do on traffic control? Just, that's, to maintain the speeding or whatever down there.
Oh, that's up to the,
Yeah.
It'll be up to them and
They're
they
not
can
up to
call the
us.
police, so I can ask about that.
probably.
One, does he, need a decision right now, tonight, was he expecting something, or he just bringing this to our
We'll
attention?
bring it to our attention, he just wants to know, so I can answer him tomorrow saying that, you know, the biggest concern is what are you going to do about traffic control, speed control on
So,
the truck route, I call it, for lack of a
Yeah,
better
when that
term.
traffic's backed up, you really don't have any police, you don't have any safety issue. I mean, if the ambulance wanted to get through, they couldn't go through, the fire trucks couldn't go through, so this way it's gonna guarantee that they'll have some access to
and
quicker
then,
back.
what about people coming off Lake Street, could that be a real,
Right,
that be something else we might have to consider, especially during those busy hours, you're talking times, I mean, they might have to sit right there and not be able to move.
yeah,
And maybe you need some traffic control certain times of the day in that area.
yeah,
But probably could get them to patrol that during the day.
yes. And,
And
so
I
I'll get together with Bill. and
imagine there's
discuss
gonna be a
this.
lot more traffic on County Road.
Yeah,
They,
Which should also probably be patrolled during that time.
Patrol all the time at County Road. That's a good one. Pretty flat down through there, you can really get rolling.
As the guy who follows the speed limits.
okay, so I will talk to Bill on that.
Is it fair to say that the consensus of the board, I mean, there are issues, but it looks like we would, using an alternative route instead of, traffic controls are better, yeah, you can at least tell Bill that, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, we got these things we wanna work out, but,
Right.
and I think they all can be worked out.
yeah, I'm sure they can be. Yep, and that's that.
Alright, Old Town businesses, status of accounting policies, town policy update.
Okay. I will just tell you that I'm in the process. First of all, I got the person in charge of, or whatever she is, of the grants at the VCDP agency to agree that as long as we have policies in 6 of the fiscal areas, which are relatively simple. There's model policies on the VLCT website, which I have printed. I've already gone in and changed for the town of Swanton. There's a few areas that we're gonna have to come up with different dollar amounts and whatnot. But I printed those off, given them to Kathy, so for her to review, and she and I will get together, we'll bring them to the board, hopefully by the next meeting. And then she will, if she's agreeable with those, then we'll implement those, and Then the other part of it, the more labor intensive part, the
Yeah.
capital plan, you know, as long as it's done by the time that the leader evaporator grant is closed out, that grant is still not closed, and it'll be probably another 2 years before it is.
Yeah.
And then I'll be good with it. And that part, the capital grant, is where I'm probably gonna need, maybe some input from Ann Peisch, but I'm fairly comfortable on these, that
Yeah.
it's straightforward, so.
Okay, that's with the financing thing, but before we get too far along here, I think we need to have a process in place how we're gonna do these policies and get them adapted, and the only efficient way that I can really think of is that, like Brian's already been doing all this work, and Christina, and they need to bring this stuff to the board. Not only you said the model from Motley City Towns, but other options that we may have, or other things that might make these policies better. You know, we're not looking for strictly just the bare minimum. And you can make a flat out recommendation to the board, what you feel in the end would be the best to adopt. But that's after we've all had discussions, not only on what you're presenting, but other options that we could use that are out there.
Yeah. Well, the policies that VLCT have out on their website, because they don't guarantee
Right.
them, of course, but they have been written by CPAs and attorneys. The most cumbersome policy is the purchasing policy, because it depends whose money you're using to purchase something that you have to do.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're gonna have to discuss that, so. If there's federal money involved, we have to, advertise it a certain way, and they have, various, how much money you're talking, and it gets a little cumbersome. You're gonna really kind of watch it and figure it out.
But we need to have them things in place, because if we don't, we might not be able to get grant money either.
That's correct, yeah. But yeah, once we'll send off and see what, and I'm gonna double check, this is, on one of the policies, it does not clearly define what I always, when I was in the banking business, what state law said. So I gotta go back and look at the state law and, see what.
I don't know, what do the members of the board think as far as letting us go, so that, let them guys do the work, and then they're bringing this information to us, and then we can discuss the various options, and elect to do, we may do something different than what he recommends, or we may just do straight what they recommend, but at least it'll come, otherwise, this thing will never get done, because it's been talked about,
And it needs to get done.
And the other thing that's even, I think is gonna be more difficult is the building policies. Of how we're gonna work together, because we have a library, which has a separate elected board of trustees. We have the historical society, the railroad depot, which is town property. We're responsible for maintaining it, so there has to be some certain policies on there. And then, if we go forward in the rec and community center in the future, so that's something that, that's not gonna be as easy one, because we're gonna have to get, everybody to understand that these things are gonna be done by the select board, and it's not that we wanna run your programs, because no, we don't, but we are responsible for the building, so we gotta find some way that this all works, so they'll have to be involved in that discussion. So this is gonna get better as it goes along.
So we'll,
Better.
with any luck, we'll have some policies or drafts that you can look at.
But
I'll send them before the meeting,
And
obviously.
then we probably will look at these annually after this?
Yeah, I'll just, depending on which version we accept, yes. And I will try to subscribe, or the VLCT, if they update, if there's changes in GASB, the Government Accounting Standards Board, then they should be updating their website, and that's what we would, should check to make sure we're compliant. But yeah, they should be reviewed annually.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And I guess the priority right now should be the economic policies because we,
No,
you know,
these
for the,
six-
yeah,
these six
yeah,
there.
get that done because,
Yeah.
you know, we are gonna be looking for grant money.
Yeah.
But we're gonna
And-
keep it moving forward.
Talking with a select board member of another nearby community this afternoon, much smaller than this community, they're having the same problem,
Yeah, yeah,
and they don't have an administrator.
yeah. So it's not gonna get done.
Well,
It's gonna be hard to get done.
right,
Extremely
very
hard.
difficult,
It's more work on the select board.
yeah. So that's, we'll update you and we'll have something for you next meeting.
I guess, Kevin, are we, everybody all set with Kevin?
Oh, yeah.
You set the record tonight, Kevin.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
If your wife don't believe
Can't
it,
lock your doors, Kevin.
if your wife doesn't believe it, Kevin, tell her to call me.
I will. Yeah, we'll verify that you left at 7 o'clock.
6:30.
You weren't here.
Trouble.
Oh,
Good man.
All right, now we got the future police discussion. Did you want to continue some more on that, or
Do we get numbers?
other than the fact that we need to get together
We need to
and
get
we need the
together,
information from them before we get together?
Right, yeah,
So, you know, I'd say we're good on that.
okay.
Now we can move on to the municipal planning grant for zoning law bylaw update.
Right,
And,
no, it's me.
yeah.
I'm preparing the application for the grant,
Yeah.
which has got a deadline on it rapidly approaching. And, there's two things. First of all, I need a resolution by this board to, in fact, apply for that grant. So I need for you to.
Now, do you have the amount that we're applying, 25,000?
20, the maximum grant amount was 20.
20.
Well, we're
What
not
was the
gonna-
contract that?
I believe the contract was for 20, wasn't it?
Right.
Was
The
it?
contract was for 20, but we're not gonna get 20 in a grant because we
Okay.
We
paid
have
some
to
of that
match.
from ARPA.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
And, we can't pay back ARPA. As this grant is only going forward, so if we already paid, we can't reimburse ourselves.
Okay.
And you're looking to fine print in the grant, that's what
Yeah.
it says. So, anyways, this, but we'll apply for 20 and then go from there.
Okay, so the board needs to make a motion to adopt, a resolution to adopt, to,
We should make a motion that, we wish to apply for the municipal planning grant for zoning bylaw update.
So moved.
Second.
moved and seconded, you got that all set? Okay, is there any discussion? Nothing? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, alright, motion carried. And what,
I just wanted to make a comment on this, very simple one. We're in the process now, we're starting it. So if anybody comes to you complaining about everything, you know, she's a, you know.
wow. Ooh.
And I slipped on that, excuse me, but people complain that all the time to me. She's being mean to everybody. So I'm saying, here's your time to sit down and write what you want.
Yeah.
There's one place in town, they've been complaining, been wanting to do this, wanting to do that and everything, they say, you never let us do it. Well, he told me the other day he's up to 5 pages of what he wants. Well, I told him I don't think we're gonna get 5 pages out of that, but there might be one paragraph in there that we never thought of.
That's true, that's absolutely true.
And so, I mean, I wanna tell people, you got something you want, now's the time to do it, while we're reviewing all this stuff.
So I called Earl the Saint earlier and I'd call Andy the Saint.
So, anyway, we have a good time, and my apologies to you. I didn't-
no offense taken. First time I was called out.
I didn't call you that. Somebody else, I won't tell you.
Boy, I gotta tell you, Ed, I hope you don't need no permits.
That's awesome.
I think it's all done.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I mean, if people are concerned about some of the things that are in our zoning bylaw, now we gotta be, you know, there's still gonna be zoning bylaws. You know, there's still gonna be restrictions, But there are some things in there that don't make a lot of sense, and, you know, the process is extended way too long, could be shortened up, all the things, you know. But people need to be involved with this, and that's leads to
And
the,
maybe somebody's got some good idea that they
Yep. which leads me to the question, when you're doing this bylaw update now, you're gonna have to schedule public hearings, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that won't be till next year.
Right.
Probably
Yeah.
after February.
The sooner though that we can get that out, the sooner people can prepare to plan to be there if they want
Right.
to be engaged.
Yeah, and if the planning commission wanted to put something together that we could get on our website, even now,
Yeah.
that this process is gonna be taking place, and you know, if you have input and whatever,
That's a good idea.
yeah. Cause I think we got more people using that website than before.
And the social media.
Yep, and you put it on them community pages and all, there we go.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for your work. Is there anything else on that we need tonight, Brian?
No,
Keep it
that's
moving
it.
forward, we're all set then. Alright. Man, I guess we can move on to, new town business. Letter of support for the water and wastewater improvements for the village of Swanton grant application.
And I enclosed a copy of the proposed letter that the administration of the village had asked that this board approves to support their efforts to apply for planning funds for necessary upgrades and repairs to the water and sewer infrastructure. And, you know, obviously it's very important since our industrial parks are serviced by the water and wastewater system. And any future expansion we might do in that area near the village, we're looking to hook on. So I had the letter all set to be signed by the board if you so desire.
Now
We
they
have
have,
to make a motion for that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
make a motion. So,
Are you entertaining a motion right now?
yep, I'll
I'll
entertain
I'll
motion.
make a motion.
I'll second.
Alright, motion has been made to, support the village's effort to, improve their, water and wastewater treatment plants. Is there any more discussion on that?
Nope.
Alright, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
You see, there's an open house gonna be at the sewer
Yeah.
plant
Yeah.
this weekend, that's up on the Palm Shore Road, they got a big
Yeah.
sign up and stuff.
And they're having the
Got a
energy
question,
fair
yeah,
this
that's
weekend,
Earl
so the
Daniels has
21st.
questions.
What's that?
At the college.
Oh, Ed, go ahead.
I just wanna add one thing to that, when I read this earlier, I thought, we're doing good with our little water districts now. Maybe it's time for us to sit down, take a look at St. Albans Bay. And then that way we can get water into the Southern Growth District maybe, or the Route 7
Yeah.
part of Swanton.
Yeah.
And build more houses, have some tax revenue, and perhaps not have to worry about big lots. Some people, everybody doesn't wanna mow 3 acres, you know, a smaller lot on Route 7. You know, I think in Burlington, 20 years ago, somebody said, we gotta have a water district. Now that takes care of all of the whole county. That's a Chipman just about. Burlington, Winooski, Essex, everything, are getting their water from the same place. So,
Yes.
maybe it's something that we need to look at, maybe there's some grant money to look at something. Well, that, I'm going home.
Alright, Ed,
Good evening.
And a pleasurable evening.
Okay.
and in spite of everything you said, Ed, you can come back anytime.
Someday we'll look at the sewer line down the Palm Shore. You know?
Amy, you wanna comment on
That's
that?
that's a big.
Not at all.
Just checking.
Alright, now we're gonna move on to town building issues. Now, what were we gonna have in the building issues?
Well, you're the one that wanted it on there, so. But anyway,
Well, I think more of it had to do with the town building issue policy.
but the policy.
Yeah.
Okay, so the,
And then you got, what was the other, there was something else, wasn't there? I can't think of it right now.
well,
How about the
The-
elevator at the library, the
And
basement
that
of the
wasn't
library?
that, but basement might have been, but,
yeah, well, okay, well, we'll start with the library, the basement.
yeah.
Okay, Kevin Nichols went down and checked and there's no sign of,
Mold.
mold.
Yeah.
It appears that the water was coming into that one corner of the basement, and that's what's, what work Kevin had done has worked, because all the rain we've had since has not been any wetter. The ceiling, the leak in the ceiling was a very small leak in the sprinkler system that healed itself.
So it's not leaking anymore.
It's not leaking anymore, but it was such.
But it would should be checked, maybe, or just leave it alone.
Kevin said those happen, that happens a lot.
Earl's right, we should.
No, we should just
Check it before it gets worse.
But it was a very small leak that didn't trigger the alarm.
Yeah.
The elevator was spraying water, the sub pump in the elevator was spraying water in the car and the elevator, so we had to get the plumber, Alliance, and the elevator company here last week. There's a little pinhole in the pipe that the pump needs to pump water, and otherwise it would get airbound, so that's where the water was spraying out of. So they adjusted that pipe, and so that the water wouldn't hit the car and the elevator.
And that's that new sump pump that got put in there, was it?
Well, they didn't.
New system.
The new sump pump, but they didn't replace the pump the last time. It was the float that was the problem.
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't it a new
right.
float system?
Right. So then the work to be done on the floor, the drainage system on the floor, they called today to schedule that, and they said January 10th is the date that they're gonna do it. It's a 2-day job. I am gonna get together with Dean at the village and just find out where that storm system is, although in January I'm sure we'll be in the frost, and that'd be quite a job short of that. So my other thing would be, maybe we can pipe into the sub pump in the elevator. So just because that's a big pump, that's really should be able to take a little bit of surface water. Plus there's a backup pump.
I was thinking about pumping it the other way. So you didn't have to, the elevator pumps up?
It pumps out.
Does it pump up and out?
I'm not sure. It
I don't know, it doesn't make any difference, but
It depends on the elevation of the sewer, of the storm sewer, they can tell me that. That's why I gotta get together with Dean. Then Laz Skangus is gonna be here tomorrow he's gonna show me the test results of the blow tests, and come up with a couple of different perhaps solutions with which we can take and deal with that. We have also received a check for $3,500 as the rebate for the heating system from Vermont Gas. And let's see, was that the only thing with the library? I believe that was.
Did you ever check to see if they cleaned out the stairway? You were concerned about that?
Oh, I went through there and it's not been cleaned out, so I'll be talking with them this week. There's serious need of housekeeping over there.
Because that can be a safety issue.
Yes, it may look like it may be safely to get out, one person get out, it's not really a problem. But those exits are designed for multiple people to get out in a hurry.
Yeah.
So that's.
I think they did an advertisement looking for a cleaning.
Firm to clean, but this is more or less getting stuff picked up, not storing stuff where it probably shouldn't be stored.
Storage is an issue in that building, and I know I've talked to them about different storage
But
solutions.
if it was a fire marshal, you could get dinged with quite a violation.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. So that I think is pretty much that with that.
A couple things before you go leave the library. Ed, could you come to that meeting tomorrow with Skangus?
What time?
What time, Brian?
1 o'clock.
Yep.
Because I can't make it
Yeah,
tomorrow.
where's it gonna be?
My office.
Be nice to have one select board member there
Okay.
anyways, you know.
Yeah, I can do it.
And Was there anything else?
And while you're doing some thinking over there, at one time we talked about a safety officer for the town. And I think it was somebody that would look at the buildings. Did we ever do anything, do we need a safety officer?
Well, not so much safety officer, maintenance.
Maintenance, yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be a safety
Oh,
officer,
a dual role,
combination,
yeah.
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 But, no, we haven't, done anything.
No.
It's, I think as we expand, I mean, even though it'll be if we get the community center up, even though it's a brand new building, I've been in plenty of brand new buildings that had some serious maintenance problems right off the bat.
Built one once.
So, I mean, I think it's something certainly that we should be really considering, maybe a part-time position, I don't know, part-time. You know, we hire a part-time, I'm just conjecturing here, it's nothing definite. We hire somebody part-time for the highway department to do the mowing and whatnot. So we hire somebody that would be full-time, part-time in the highway department and part-time doing this maintenance work, I don't know. That could be
That was what we discussed.
yeah, that's what we discussed at that point, yeah.
That's, yeah. Or we hire a professional. There might be some benefits to that because they'd have no baggage with them.
Mhm.
You know, that's another option, but I'm thinking about this right now, we need to have, I think definitely at our next meeting, I mean, these are things we need to talk about in the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
That, the possibility of a local income tax.
No. Local option.
Local
You're gonna get income tax.
I want the income because these people got big income, not me. What's that?
We need a new stove in the kitchen. The oven door doesn't shut. So we can't cook, it takes us 3 hours to.
But them are at least two things, and if anybody on the board between now and next Thursday, right? Because you do the warning on Friday morning, right, for our meeting?
No,
We don't have another
no, we
meeting.
don't have.
Yeah, but not this Thursday, the following Thursday. Oh, we gotta skip here, okay, so,
Your 24th, the 31st, so it's gonna be November.
November
The 7th of November.
alright, that's our next meeting, so it would be the 2nd of November.
Right.
If any of the members of the board have other things they'd like to have discussed in this budget discussion,
Call them at it.
you know, get them into Brian.
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully we'll do that discussion that night and give Brian and his staff a direction of where to go.
I'll call you on Wednesday.
I think we discussed this a few times, Mr. Chair, but we really want to look at a reserve account for each one.
Well, that's
One of the.
Well,
Yep.
that'd be part of the budget.
Yep,
But it's gonna
Yep.
bite us hard.
yeah, that'll be in, you wanna get that
That's
in
part
there,
of the
yep.
accounting,
Yep.
that's one of the
Okay.
6 areas,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Alright, we won't,
Okay.
we'll save that for next meeting. So,
Okay.
you were past the library, do we got another building issue?
Well, we still have the deck on the bridge down there that needs some attention, but Kevin's gonna try something with an epoxy mix and try to fill that in, so,
What bridge is this?
the walking bridge.
Oh.
That deck is starting to rot.
Part of the Dick Thompson Fit and
It's gonna-
Healthy.
It's gonna be, and it's, the way it's constructed is very difficult. You just can't take a piece out and replace it, because they're
Sure.
laid on edge and they're attached together, so, we're gonna try that, he's gonna give that a try. Then I gotta go and inspect or check around the, railroad depot building and see what's going on there, what that's gonna need for budgeting purposes. Then I think the town garage is all set, there's nothing wrong up there. as far as
Kevin
I
would
know.
be the one to talk to,
Right,
but I didn't,
yeah,
you know.
but he hasn't said
yeah.
anything and everything has been.
They generally take care of things themselves.
Yeah, I know they had a problem with the septic septic
Yeah.
system,
Yeah.
but that's been taken care of. Your building over the rec.
Pretty good
is
shape.
Okay, so, I think we're, probably good there, but I'm concerned with the railroad depot. It's been there for quite a few years and not much has been done
It was
to
an
it.
old building to begin with.
Yeah, yeah.
And this building here,
This building here,
okay, you were getting to it then.
oh yeah.
Okay, alright, go ahead.
I've heard, well, I guess Kathy, the heating system, the furnace down in the basement here, you said you were told it
Well, we were
was
told by,
too small.
got installed and then someone said it's too small to heat the building.
The building is
And
still
that's why
pretty
we're
cold.
constantly cranking it up to
Yeah, the
70.
building is quite cold all the time, so.
Is that a new
So we could
system?
have Vermont Gas come in and take a look at it for us and see. It's probably, it's gotta be at least 8 years old now. Oh, it isn't old for a furnace, but it was, probably was like 8 years ago, maybe
And
not.
they're saying it ain't big enough after you put it in.
Not the same outfit,
Oh, different.
different outfit, because we were having trouble and they came in, they said, well, one of your problems is it's not big enough to heat the space you have.
And
That's a hot water system, Kathy?
No,
Yeah.
yes, but
Yeah.
it's natural gas, Vermont gas.
Yeah, it's hot water.
So it's, that is probably a concern and we need to take a look at it.
Yeah, but I don't wanna do one of these one-time close enough deals. If we're gonna do a heating system in this place, we ought to start looking at something that's, I hate to say it, don't get too nervous, green. That's efficient. I think this building's in good enough shape, at least the bottom floor, that you could do something with geothermal. Then we might be able to get money for that.
Well, we also give some thought to the second floor too. Someday we're gonna use that, so.
That might be a
So,
whole
yeah.
friggin', bring
Yeah,
in
so when
that.
we do something for this floor, hopefully.
Make it big enough for both.
Big enough or would adapt
Yeah.
to something in addition or something.
But I think you're gonna have to start looking at different sources of, fuel for heat other than gas and fuel oil. It's inevitable, it's coming. You know, if you're gonna do something long-term, you might as well do it using alternative energy sources. Or we can do a nickel and dime job, put a bigger furnace down there.
Let's take a look at the big picture.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
there's two ways of doing it. But
Is there a
now,
full cellar under here?
No, just this portion, or that half has got the full cellar. This is all crawl space.
yeah,
Wow.
Dark dungeon.
Yeah, and it's a crawl space.
You could hide bodies down there. I mean, so,
there might be a couple.
so there's underneath here, just crawl space.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
Well,
what
they
I
don't
would
bother
use.
me no more.
And so the other thing in this building that we'd like to get done, we've been saying it since I've been here, is to get the place painted inside. It's, some of it needs,
see, if we had a building maintenance person, that's something that I think they could be doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because I know that was one of the tasks our seasonal maintenance person did, and our place looks great on the inside.
Yeah, if he's a good painter,
He was pretty good.
maybe hire him.
I mean, this room is one of the better
Wow.
ones, which you go like in my office and Amy's
What about
office.
putting some murals on the wall?
No.
No.
Thank you.
My walls had holes punched all over in them, little pinholes
I
all
need a
over.
common color.
Well, that's what I'm saying, paint it on, you don't have to make a pinhole.
They didn't paint pinhole. So, but that's something I think we put in the budget for,
We do.
Well, you're gonna have to get a price on that. You know, you're gonna have to ask
well, we've
around.
got somebody on staff that, enjoys painting. I'm not sure if Kevin frees him up,
It depends on if they have the free time. to
if
do
they
it
have the
now.
free time to do it.
Probably not on the job. I mean, you have to be almost, a lot of it be after hours. You don't wanna do that kind of thing, do you?
Well, I'm not talking to me, no.
No, no, I thought you said Kevin.
No, Kevin's not gonna paint
No,
it.
not Kevin. Brandon has
Yeah.
done some painting on the inside of the garage.
Cause the last time this
Did
building
really
was
good.
painted, the highway crew had nothing to do in the winter, so they painted here.
Yeah,
And you can buy the stuff that doesn't smell anymore.
Well, that would kinda make sense, but, you know, you wanna make sure you're doing a good job.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
They didn't do a bad job.
I mean, I
They
do a little
didn't,
painting
and-
too, but it ain't very fancy.
And I guess, what he did up at the garage was good. Kevin said he did a good job
Yeah.
too, so, and then if there's more than one of them doing it, I mean, I can paint okay, it's, I just have a habit of spilling the can.
Well, let's not have you do it then.
You're gonna cost us money for it.
But, you know, so that's, you know, so the heating and,
Yeah, we can.
you know, a
I
paint
got a
job.
stack in my office in case you need
You know,
extra.
obviously the heating would cost much more than the paint, but,
I have it on my list.
Yeah.
you know.
Do you, well, what do you guys think? You think we just, I mean, do you wanna take a real serious look at this heating issue and see if we can get some different, proposals or?
Sure. There might be some money out there, especially if it's for a municipal building and it's an upgrade. Who
Well,
knows?
tell them we're interested in going green, though. I think that needs that needs to be brought into the picture. What they feel is the most efficient thing we can do, and it will make it, you know, what's gonna happen in the future, are gonna be even convert more or whatever, you know? Could be a combination of heat pumps and gas. I don't know.
So it probably would have to be, because the heat pump still, when it gets into the 20 below zero.
That is not true, Brian. I live in a house that has nothing else but that, and I've never been cold.
But they're advertising you need another form, you know. I've heard, I've watched it, and they
Yeah.
said, well, you do need for extreme cold, you need another.
Yeah, you need a backup. We've got heat pumps and
Yeah.
once it gets down to
Yeah.
about 40, 35, 40, and if there's a slight amount of wind, they can't keep up.
Yeah, but it's not, I gotta get this clear. It's not a heat pump, it's a geothermal
Oh,
system.
geothermal.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Geothermal,
Yeah.
okay.
And you could do geothermal here if you really wanted to. There's different ways of doing it.
Okay, well, we'll get some.
And then it's all electric, so if all the electricity's coming from renewable resources, you've got all your heating. But it's not the cheapest way to do
Expensive to put in.
it. You know?
Yeah.
Long term, it might be. And I think we gotta start thinking longer than, 2 or 3 years. We're looking at a 25, 30-year investment here. And then it really starts to look.
Okay, so we'll check that out. I think that's it, unless we can think of other stuff.
Well, then you got that joint meeting tentatively scheduled, this is strictly for exit 21 at least.
Right.
For now.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to get something in way before that for the police issue, right?
Right, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Alright, do you have anything on community and economic development?
Not at this time, I don't know if I told you that, the couple that wanna open the restaurant.
No, you said you were gonna be meeting with someone.
Okay, well, I did.
Okay.
Actually, I did. And, they are in the process of, looking to, get funding. They're approaching all the various avenues and, but they are both, husband and wife, experienced in the restaurant business, in the Burlington area. So, they live here in Swanton and, so we'll see how they make out.
Alright, so you had conversations with them
They
and,
hope to be open, if everything goes well, they hope to be open, early next spring.
Where are they looking for that?
At Gordon's, but,
Yeah, good, good.
so, yeah. So, we'll hope for the best there. Yep.
just wanna take a couple minutes, this Southern Growth District, we're gonna have to, we haven't really done much. And I don't have any really great ideas of how we can do more than we're doing. But sort of letting things happen on its own. I don't know what that's gonna mean for the future. The only thought I ever could imagine that the town could ever get involved with that from a financial standpoint would have to be through, calm down, Brian, TIF.
Which is probably on its way out, by the way.
Yeah.
I know, which is,
It's gotta be renewed or it's out.
it is, eh?
And I think the feeling is it's gonna go out again.
Yeah.
It was out once before.
You don't think it'll get renewed, eh?
I certainly wouldn't vote for it. if I don't have
I know, that's why I told you to calm down, man. But, you know, it's quite possible we could end up not having any say in what ends up happening there.
But, you
And-
know, we've got, that's all owned by private people.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah.
And if they would seek our input, we certainly would be willing to give them some input. There's what, one commercial lot that's been designated out there?
No, just the the state
The
garage.
state garage.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, and the other couple ones have been on the, Bushy, a couple on the Bushy Road commercial. Then I guess you could include Tractor Supply.
Because if anything goes on out there of any magnitude, there's gonna be an Act 250 requirement. And I think we'd be involved in that in some respect.
yeah,
Well, we'd have input.
That would have input that way.
yeah.
If it's a small project like Rick's, I don't think he has an Act 250 permit up there.
Don't know.
I don't think he does. So that's about the only way we become involved. I mean, we tried to reach out, I think we tried to reach out to the property owners saying, you know, we'd be glad to talk to you, see if we can help you, but. And I think you're right, I think we should have some entry into that discussion out there, but I'm not sure if we can force it.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
Yeah.
But if anybody can think about this, and if you come up with some ideas, you know.
Yep.
We can't forget about it.
No,
Do you know if anything's going on out there right now, Brian, other than Rick's?
there's
Project?
Rick's, the state, obviously.
Yeah.
That's all I'm aware of. at this
Private
point.
landowners don't have anything going on.
Nothing. Nothing's coming to the zone.
Nothing.
Nothing that I know of.
No, nothing through the permits, nobody's calling to inquire. A lot of stuff for sale out there. but,
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
coming through yet. As far as brick and mortar retail establishments, that's,
Yeah.
everybody's shopping online now. That's,
Yeah, I know.
you know.
But from a business standpoint, you know, I do believe we really need that kind of space out there, you know, for maybe manufacturing.
Yeah.
You know, maybe some other businesses, along with some, you know, fairly dense housing, maybe condos, maybe 2 or 3 story, you know, that you could rent for $800-900 a month and you could afford to live. Because I don't care if you're making $50,000 a year, you're struggling.
Yeah, you are.
And what's the average median income in Franklin County?
About 70 something.
70, yeah.
Yeah, 2 family, 2 workers, or just 1?
Just one.
Okay, well, that's 70 still. You ain't got much left.
No, it's not no excess.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we've, you know, we talked with Lake Champlain, or Champlain Housing.
Yeah.
I am going to call Cathedral Square and see if they would be interested in a similar meeting.
Now we have, you should've took off when you had a chance.
What?
There's a proposal for the rest of the Gagne property, that Goss bought. He came in before the planning commission to look for,
LaFar,
yeah, LaFar, yeah.
yes. He wants to put some multifamily housing in there. But right now, it's not zoned for that.
Right.
So, another thing we're gonna look at is the industrial district.
Where's that on Old Farm Road?
Far.
Far Street.
Before Wall Farm.
The other thing that we don't want to lose sight of, we don't have a lot of commercial space available in our core district. I mean, we got Brett's building,
Yeah.
that's left.
Yep,
Gordon has done a good job
Yeah.
on that building.
yeah,
Merchants Row is in pretty good shape, But other than the Brett building, I don't think we have any inventory left. I mean, that we don't own, of course.
But commercial is hard right now.
Well, the retail business is.
Yeah.
You see drugstores closing, you see
Yeah.
retail, big chain stores closing.
No.
So our opportunity is gonna be maybe the smaller ones that we
Yes,
have here.
yes, it's gonna have to be something unique that people, that's gonna draw some people from outside the area to stop here, whatever it is, it might be the coffee they're selling down there. Or, of course, they got the tuxedos and stuff too, so there ain't really much around here for that, so that should, those type of businesses, if they're run well,
Sure.
as long as we gotta keep the place looking good, I don't know, something for everybody, I'd like to have everybody think about that, cause could mean a lot in the future, might make it easier to afford some of the things we all want. Alright, we did some correspondence, you got any more?
No, that was it.
Public comment? No comment.
We gotta set a date for the flags
Yeah.
tomorrow.
the date.
Okay, that's right, dates for the memorial flag.
And then he's gonna do the Abernathy.
Oh, that's
He's
right.
skipping.
Okay, oh,
Okay. The flags, go up for Veterans Day. This year, usually they go up on a Saturday, come down on a Saturday, but this year, Veterans Day is a Saturday. So I'm trying to figure out,
Isn't it a Friday? No. it's
no, we
Saturday.
take Friday.
It's on the
off.
11th.
Friday,
Eleventh.
yeah.
it is a Saturday.
Saturday the
It's
11th.
Saturday. So, I talked with Adam Paxman, he said, well, we could keep them up for 2 weeks. I said, well, it's a stretch because last year I was out there, the wind was just incredible last year.
Yeah, it usually is.
And we had one of our local veterans says, well, we could put them up on Wednesday and go to Wednesday. Well, the volunteers we get are all working, so that's not gonna work. So I'm just looking.
Is it easier to take them down than to put them up?
Oh, it's a lot
Oh, yeah,
easier to
it's
take them
quick.
down.
Then why wouldn't you try for the Monday after Veterans Day? Then you could probably get a lot of old people like myself could do it.
What, to take them down?
Yeah, cause you said it's easier.
Well, it's still a lot of work though, Earl. There's still
A
a lot of handling.
lot of handling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
yeah,
flags
and you gotta get them back upstairs and
Right.
things.
What you do is that there's 150 of them. So what I've done is usually go down early and I clip the tags off.
Yeah.
And so that's all done. So then you just pull, wrap them up, tie them, and then they get a load in the truck, then bring them upstairs. So there's still a fair amount of work to be done. They pull out faster than send them in, of
And
course.
in November, it's colder. I mean, we had a lot of people that helped out,
Right.
but that wind was blowing. We had some we had some Boy Scouts there, which
Right.
was nice to see.
Right.
But it's cold,
It's cold.
yeah.
And
Yeah, it usually is in winter.
it was a little warmer the day we set them out in November, but the wind was blowing like,
Yeah.
I mean, gale force that day.
Well, why couldn't we just do it the Saturday before?
So from Saturday to
I
Sunday.
mean, it's,
Saturday to Sunday, if that's, if you don't wanna leave them up long, 2 weeks.
4th.
Well, it's up to, if you wanna put them up on Saturday the 4th,
Take it out.
and take them down Sunday the 11th.
Well,
Sunday the
well,
12th.
if you ever think about putting more over here in the,
Yeah,
Well,
in my notes we had, and we said for Memorial Day 2024, if we,
oh, okay.
if, we can see what interest there is. I think there'll be enough interest, because the price of all that stuff has gone up, so we'd have to increase the cost. Maybe, I think we got probably 25 names on the waiting list now, so, probably, we wouldn't have to order 50, or we could order 50 and just hang on to them, and they'll eventually go. But yeah, we've looked at that.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive when you drive through and you see those flags.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
impressive. So if this board is agreeable, then we'll go from the 4th to the Sunday.
November.
Yeah, if you, I mean,
The 12th.
if having enough volunteers has to be done on the weekend, that's the only option
Yeah.
you really got.
Okay, we'll have to advertise that. November 4th, save the date. And we'll
But we get a pretty steady stream of volunteers that show up every year. I'm sure there'll be some new ones, but.
Yeah, so it takes about 2 hours or so to set them up. And just about an hour to pull them down and have them all upstairs, so, when they come down. So, okay, so that'll be November 4th. Just hope for good weather. Well,
Okay.
the rain date would be November 5th.
Yes, yeah.
And then the 12th will be the takedown date
Yeah.
with no rain date, so we
Do you
just,
think we'd be better off doing it on a Sunday, Ryan? November 4th is a Saturday, is that
right,
correct?
well, then you wouldn't have a rain date, just in case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
good point.
so I think the 4th would be fine, yeah.
All right, Cody, did you wanna bring something up?
Oh, just that I had talked to Macomb and Tribal Council about meeting and stuff like that, and they said that they were completely fine with waiting, and actually it worked out well, but they were excited to talk.
Did they reorganize?
They're in their process
They're-
now,
right,
yeah,
Okay.
but they're excited to
Yeah.
strengthen that relationship with Swanton Town.
Good.
Because there's already an existing relationship, but they think great things could happen in the future.
All right, so I guess we're down to upcoming events. DRB meeting, the 26th, town offices at 6 p.m. And then the select board's next meeting will be November 7th, at 6 p.m. here at the town offices. And I see we got executive session, legal / so we do have to go into executive session.
Yeah.
I move that we find that we enter executive session for the select board to receive confidential legal information for which the premature disclosure of it to the general public would clearly place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage.
I'll second that.
All right, motion's been made and seconded, all those in favor?
I move that based on our just made findings, that the premature disclosure would place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage. We now enter executive session.
Second that.
All right, motion been made and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are in executive session.